obviously you're like, hello, nice to meet you. I have had my appendix out.
Yeah, totally.
That's just obvious, normal conversation.
And people say I'm not good with conversation just because that's how I start my social interactions, but they're full of it.
Do you have your appendix and gallbladder? How about those wisdom teeth?
Honestly,
open up.
I would rather do that than talk about the weather. Welcome back to Stuff That We Like/Enjoy, at least at this point in time. I'm Caleb.
And I'm Christina.
And we're the Castanettas. And today, I'm going to ask Christina, what's something you like/enjoy?
So something that I like/enjoy is a topic that popped into my head today. And it is, what's up with organs?
Wait. Organs?
Organs.
Like your body's organs.
Yes.
Okay.
And do we need all of them? So
Okay.
I've heard we don't need them all. And so I just did some digging into what is considered to be a necessary organ or a non-necessary organ. And then we can maybe debate if like they're actually non-necessary or not. So first of all, how many organs does the human body have?
Oh, man. 27.
78.
78?
Far more than I knew.
Are we talking about like, is your eye an organ?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
I was just thinking in your tummy how many there are.
Right, yes.
Anyways, go for it.
Yeah, so 78 is the common consensus. Some people say 79 or 90, depending on how you divide stuff up. But that's a lot of organs, and do we need them all? So first of all, I looked up what an organ is, because I'm like, if there's 78 of them, I must not be fully understanding what an organ is. So the word organ comes from the Latin word organum, which means tool or instrument. So an organ is like a tool. It has a purpose. An organ is made up of various tissues, muscle, connective tissues, nervous tissues, etc., that work together for a main job or specific function.
Okay.
So they've decided that we have 78 organs that all have different primary functions. Not that they don't maybe have some overlaps, but 78 individual functions within the organ.
Is your brain counted as one or multiple organs? Because I know there's... Okay, got you, just one.
Even though you have different sections or however that works, yeah. So what do you think is the most commonly stated organ that we don't need?
Let's see.
And the most common one people
Oh,
don't
yeah.
have.
It's not the pancreas. It is the appendix.
Okay, that's pretty high up there. But there's one above it, which is the wisdom teeth.
Oh,
So your
they're
teeth,
organs?
your teeth are considered to be an organ as opposed to a bone.
because they're tools.
Yes,
Oh.
exactly.
Okay.
Odd, but we're going to go with it. So wisdom teeth. So I'm going to go in order of like the most, what I view as the most we don't need it, to like further down the list. I'm like, I'm pretty sure we kind of still need
this.
that. Yeah.
I love this.
So wisdom teeth, also called third molars. According to evolution, we evolved to eat tough plants, and our modern jaws are smaller now. We don't have to chew on plants, so we don't need them anymore due to evolution. So millions are extracted yearly with zero downsides once gone. I don't love that, zero downsides, because like you had some pretty downsides when you had your wisdom teeth taken out.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was pretty terrible. And in fact, I can't chew as well as I did when I had them. So there's not zero
So this whole
downsides.
evolution thing is crap, because I'm like, I feel like if they're there, we would use them.
Totally.
So this is interesting. About 2/3 of Americans 45 years and older don't have their wisdom teeth.
Okay, they don't have their wisdom teeth.
So
that
about
makes sense.
2/3. Now, for people 30 and younger, only a quarter don't. So it's become something that is less common to automatically remove your wisdom teeth.
Huh.
Whereas back in the day, it was kind of like you just get them pulled just as a given. So now dentists are like, we're only going to take them out if they're causing a problem.
Right.
Yeah. Whereas back in the day, they're just like, take them out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's because of all the infections that used to happen behind the wisdom teeth, or they would compact or impact the other teeth. So that makes more sense.
Right. Or there was, hey, this could cause a problem. We're just going to take them out before it is.
Yeah.
Kind of a thing. So about half of Americans approximately don't have their wisdom teeth.
They don't have their wisdom teeth. It's surprising that the other half do.
Yeah.
Or are you saying half don't have because they got them taken out, or half don't have just because they never came in? Because I know that's a thing too.
Right. No, most everybody has wisdom teeth, even if they don't erupt, they're kind of below the surface. So
Yeah.
50% of Americans have had them taken out.
Woo.
Yeah.
Baby girl.
So do you agree that those aren't a typically needed organ?
They're not typically needed.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that they're completely unneeded.
There we go.
I think the blanket statement that they're completely unneeded is a little harsh.
Yes. Yeah. I would agree too. But I would guess that if you don't have your wisdom teeth, like I don't, you're living life just fine.
Yeah.
So the next one is the one you brought up, is the appendix, which, do you know what the appendix does?
It bursts.
I love it. I didn't know what the appendix actually did. So it is a small finger-like pouch, which I don't love that description.
That doesn't make any sense.
Finger-like pouch that is connected to your large intestines that was long called useless, but it acts as a safe house for beneficial gut bacteria that can repopulate your intestines after you're sick.
No.
So if you've had severe diarrhea, your intestines are stripped of everything good, your appendix is like, hey, we got some in our finger pouch, and kind of just jams it into your large intestines.
That's so crazy.
So they're actually related to your immune system, can be very helpful. Millions of people have it removed due to appendicitis, which is when your appendix gets sick and is going to explode, which if it explodes, it's a very bad deal. But they have found that there's no measurable long-term change to quality of life or digestion, and around 10% of Americans have had their appendix removed, which I find hard to believe. Because
like
I don't know a single person who's had their appendix out.
30 million people have not had their appendix out. That's nuts though. That's not true.
10%
Yeah.
have had it out.
Yeah, that's crazy.
That's crazy.
I mean,
I don't know
that's
if
too
I
many.
believe that.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I only know 2 people in my own life in, let's see, in 30, almost 32 years of life who have had their appendix burst.
I think I knew a girl in middle school that had one, and that's it.
I mean,
so I'm going to have to dig more into that.
Yeah.
I was like, what?
And we know everybody in the world, so it's fine.
I mean, obviously, you're like, hello, nice to meet you. I have had my appendix out.
Yeah, totally.
That's just obvious, normal conversation.
And people say I'm not good with conversation just because that's how I start my social interactions, but they're full of it.
Do you have your appendix and gallbladder? How about those wisdom teeth?
Honestly,
open up.
I would rather do that than talk about the weather. Be like, appendix? No.
Although I remember we were at this hangout 5-6 years ago, and a girl was talking about how she had like absorbed her twin in the womb.
What?
You know, because that'll happen like at a very young age, early on in pregnancy, that sometimes the twin can absorb the other one. And I was like, maybe that's something you don't bring up in conversation.
You know, this is gross, but I also have a friend who had absorbed his twin in the womb, and the twin gave him like teeth.
I've heard of that.
And an abscess on his back.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he said he had the strength of a man and a half, but I also had the teeth of a man and a half, that's a harsh trade-off. I would rather just have the strength of a man.
Wonder if he had the wisdom teeth of the brother.
That's true. Just the wisdom teeth.
And the appendix.
Which is good because he got them removed. You know,
that's so
totally
nasty.
Useless teeth.
No, that's a rough one. We should look into that. That's a weird one.
That's crazy.
So we're going to have to like really dig more into the 10% of appendixes out. I don't know if I believe it. Gallbladder is the next one, which you're familiar with. Tell us about gallbladders.
So gallbladders secrete bile into your stomach when you eat something that needs to be digested. Specifically, it releases a lot of bile when you eat a lot of fatty stuff for the most part, but it secretes bile basically for anything. And if you have an overactive gallbladder, it can get angry and inflamed, or it can get stopped up completely and you'll have to have your gallbladder taken out.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Yes. So you were correct. Your gallbladder stores bile that comes from the liver, and then it pumps it into your stomach to help you digest fats. When it's removed, your liver still produces the bile, and it just kind of drips steadily into the intestines, either being stored and released when you eat food. Most people adapt completely fine. Some temporarily need a low or fat diet or struggle with constipation, but complications are rare. And about 5% of Americans have had their gallbladder out.
Yeah, my dad is one of those 5%.
Yeah, I remember that one more.
Yeah.
Was it your grandma? She was in the hospital and they're like, we think you need to have your gallbladder out.
I think so.
And then they found out she already had it taken out. They're like, okay, never mind.
There's something similar like that. Yeah, we need to get your gallbladder out. Like that's the issue.
Yeah.
And then she's like, okay, fine. And then the funny thing wasn't necessarily that they came back and like, oh, it's gone. It's that she didn't even remember
That she had it taken out.
Yeah, I think that's how the events happened. We'll have to ask my dad. But yeah,
that's
hilarious.
Had you considered having your gallbladder removed?
No.
Okay.
No.
You were just I'm going to change my diet.
I think so. I think there was a lot of like anxiety and fear around having to have it out at some point because of the damage I had done. They used to call me, for anybody listening, they used to call me Pork Chop Caleb because I constantly ate pork chops, which are full of fat.
Just straight fat.
Straight fat. 2 or 3 pork steaks a day. Maybe two a day.
So your gallbladder was upset.
Yeah, and I was too afraid to have it taken out. That was like the worst case scenario. So I changed my diet. My dad chose to keep his diet and get his gallbladder taken out, and to each their own.
Yeah.
But for me, that was the greatest fear of mine.
Was having to have it taken out. Whereas your dad was like, I'll just have it taken out and I'll keep eating my pork chops.
I won't eat my pork chops. And I'm like, I'll give up pork chops. I'm fine.
So I believe the 5% number more than I do the 10% for the appendix.
Yes. Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So,
which is still very high. It's 15 million people roughly. Mm-hmm. So
it just shows how bad our diets are that we've gotten to this point.
Yeah.
Okay, the next one is your tonsils. And often I'm going to say this wrong, anoids. So there's like connected to your tonsils. So these are lymphatic tissues that trap viruses or bacteria in the throat or the nose. So your tonsils are at the back of your throat. They are removed in childhood if you have reoccurring infections, strep throat, colds, things like that. But your other lymph nodes and immune tissues fully make up for it. So studies show that there's no long-term increase in infections of kids who've had it removed. It's almost always children who have their tonsils removed.
Wow.
It's very rare to have happen later in life. So removing your tonsils, much like how most people had their wisdom teeth taken out before, it was extremely common in the mid-20th century. Over 1 million children per year in the 1950s to 70s had their tonsils removed, with some areas removing them for maybe between 20 to 60% of children. So it was kind of you've gotten multiple colds, we're just going to take your tonsils out.
What the heck?
Because they can get swollen and stuff. So today, just 50 years later, only 0.2% of children get the surgery each year.
Wow.
So because of that, about 15% of the population doesn't have their tonsils, but they're all in their 50s, 60s.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So they found that that's not really the problem.
Did you know anybody who had their tonsils out?
Yes. I knew a couple of kids in school that had their tonsils out.
Were they pretty sick kids?
I don't know. It's just kind of one of those things. Like, they didn't even seem like it was a big deal. One of my friends, her little sister had him out. And I think some people actually do have just large tonsils and maybe a smaller esophagus or throat. So it was causing her breathing problems at a young age. But yeah, she had him out and was kind of good to go. A couple days later, I guess it wasn't a huge thing. But yeah.
I have one friend that had him out. And
was he sickly?
he wasn't sickly, but they didn't eat good. So I can imagine him getting sick more often than not.
Just in general, yeah.
So I wonder, because you're talking about a span from the 50s to the 70s, which is a pretty unhealthy span in U.S. history.
Right.
It's kind of where we were discovering corn syrup and
processed foods were kind of growing. And it obviously was hey, here's the solution. Just like with the wisdom teeth back in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. So I wonder if diet has something to do with it. Because if your kid's sick all the time, you'd be like, hey, get those tonsils out of there. I'd rather him not be sick. But you didn't know any better because of the diet back then.
Right, yeah. Could be, and it could also be we look back, 20 years from now, and it's like, what? You had 70 vaccines when you were a kid?
Yeah.
That's crazy. We only do 5 now.
Totally.
So it could be just this overcompensation kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that was kind of wild. So I think that you can live without your tonsils and be perfectly fine. This, to me, seems like the most unneeded one we've come across.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. The next one is the spleen.
The spleen.
Do you know what the spleen does?
I'm going to say the spleen is what creates insulin.
No.
No? Okay. I'm thinking of the appendix, maybe? I don't know.
That's right.
No, not the
I
appendix.
didn't know what it
We
was.
just talked about that. Tell me what the spleen is.
So it filters blood, stores platelets, and helps fight certain bacteria.
Oh, wow.
So it's commonly removed after spleen disease or like a traumatic injury.
Spleendinitis.
Yeah. So you could be in a car accident and lose your spleen, like have to have it taken out. But your liver and other lymphatic tissues take over. The main downside is that there's a higher lifetime risk of specific infections because the spleen fights certain bacterias.
Yeah.
So pneumonia and meningitis are much more common in people who don't have a spleen. So people just often get vaccines or take antibiotics for those kind of things. But
Why they call it meningitis, not womeningitis?
I think it's for your mandibles. Isn't that something to do with your jaw? I don't know. I could have been making that up.
Could be.
Yeah.
I just thought it was a bit sexist.
I will take that. Womeningitis. So spleen, to me, that seems more important.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. I think I would rather have my spleen than not have it just because of the meningitis.
Yeah,
the
pneumonia.
meningitis.
And it filters your blood, which that's always good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The next one is something I hadn't heard of, is the thymus gland.
I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so it helps develop T cells, which again, what's a T cell?
That's a testosterone cell.
No.
Dang it.
Great. Thanks for asking. I'll tell you. So it is an immune system benefiting white blood cell. So it's a certain type of white blood cell.
Okay.
I misspelled benefiting, so I'm fixing it. White blood cell. So your thymus gland is really active in childhood, but it shrinks dramatically down to almost nothing once you go through puberty. So if you've made it through puberty,
You can get rid of that baby.
perfectly fine without it. And the rest of your immune system handles the job.
What happens if you don't go through puberty and you get rid of it?
Nothing really came up about it. It's
Okay.
like it's just you might have a lower immune system, but as long as you got your spleen or your tonsils or
Yeah.
other stuff, your body's pretty good at making up for it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that one seemed kind of important to me. So now we get into some gray areas,
Okay.
I would say.
Okay.
Okay. Your kidney.
You need those.
But you
100%.
only need one. So we have 2 kidneys.
Yeah.
So people donate their kidneys, or if they lose one and they can live perfectly normally, their remaining kidney actually enlarges and grows
Whoa.
to compensate and handles it. So people with 1 kidney might need some checkups more often, especially if they had kidney disease, to make sure that their kidney's okay, but really don't have many restrictions on life.
Man.
So I put that in the we still need it category because you got to have at least one of them.
Yeah.
So it's important.
I would put that up there with, this is just me. I would put that up there with lungs and heart for me and brain. Like that is so pivotal because if you don't have that, you have to go onto dialysis,
Right.
which would suck.
Yes.
Oh my God. That would be so brutal. So that one's a big one for me.
Yes.
I will rank that pretty high at the end of this.
Yeah. Speaking of also is the lung. So we have 2 lungs. We can live with just 1 lung. 1 lung is enough to breathe, oxygenate your blood. Your oxygen capacity drops by about 25%. So I thought it was going to be 50-50, but 25%. So people with 1 lung, they probably aren't going to be out there running an ultra marathon, but many people live very full lives.
I wonder what takes the place of your other lung capacity, like in your tummy, because your organs can shift around there now.
Yeah.
I know your intestines are lower, but
Yeah, if that's space, what happens if that's empty?
because
What
your lungs,
happens?
when they're full, they're relatively large.
Yes.
And so there has to be something to fill that cavity.
Yeah.
Anyways, yes, that would suck to lose a lung. I think that's not up there with kidney for me, but it's right below it.
Yeah. So that's why I put kidney and lung in that kind of gray area because you do need your kidneys and your lungs. You just can live with only one of them.
Interesting. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
So next we go on to some reproductive systems. Your uterus, which is what holds the baby.
Gotta hold the baby.
If it's removed, which is called a hysterectomy, it can be removed because of cancer or other problems. It has no impact on your life except for that you then go into menopause and you can't get pregnant anymore. So that's why I'm like, it is important, but you can live without it. But you do go through menopause, which can be really, big deal if you're in your 30s or something.
Yeah.
Which then gets into the ovaries or testes if both are removed, which is another one of those where you could just have one removed and still have a normal sex drive or be able to have a baby. But your hormone production stops if you have both removed, which can cause some problems to bone density and your sex drive. Obviously, you can't reproduce, but many people are put on hormone replacement therapy, which allows them to have normal health and sexual function and things like that. So once again, I'm like, I feel like it is necessary to reproduce and live a full life, especially for hormones, but you can technically live without it and be fine other than those factors.
Technically, for sure. This would be a huge bummer for either a man or a woman to lose, because it is like, it's such a human part of existence, like the sex drive and the be able to reproduce. That is, it's just basic humanity. It's like humanity 101, what we're here to do, kind of. So I think there would be more of an existential crisis for whoever loses those.
Yes. More of a mental and emotional impact than maybe a physical. I mean, obviously the hormones is all messed up. But
whereas if you're losing a lung or a kidney, that comes with like the fear around the surgery and the recuperation. If you're losing your ability to reproduce or produce specific chemicals that your body needs to affirm your man or womanhood, that comes with the whole emotional baggage.
Yes.
So I would put this a little bit higher ranked than the gray area. I don't know. This is, of course, I still want my brain and my heart and my whatever keeps me alive more. But this comes with like emotional baggage. Exactly. So this is in a whole different section for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I'd put it literally in a different section.
Okay.
Yes. No, like, yeah, like it's a very different effect than like, oh, your immune system's a little bit lowered, or I could see it being more devastating in different ways than losing a kidney or a lung.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More psychological and emotional than physical.
For sure.
Yeah. Because if you lose your uterus or your testes, you can still go out and run an ultramarathon.
Totally.
Yeah. The hormones might be a problem, but.
Yeah.
So then I put these next 3 or 4 that came up in intervention needed. So you can live without them, but only with the help of, modern medicine. Kind of a thing. Like, I'm like, why is this on the list? Some of them I just straight took off.
Intervention needed.
Like, we got to have some help. So
like people sit you down and be like,
we have an intervention.
This is an intervention. You need a heart.
Yes.
You need to keep your heart.
Right. Yeah. So one is the colon, which is your large intestines.
Oh, wow.
So you can live without it or without large sections of it. Sometimes it's removed because of cancer, Crohn's disease, ulcerative colitis. The small intestines take over and work harder, but people will either need to go to the bathroom a lot or have a colostomy bag where your body kind of just poops out into the bag. So that's where I'm like, if you have to have a medical device, then it really is needed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without medical intervention.
That's fair. That's very fair. I would agree with that assessment.
Yeah. The same thing for the stomach. We know of like gastric bypass surgery, which is like a weight loss surgery where they pretty much like staple off the majority of your stomach. But people actually can live with their entire stomach removed, which is wild. This is done because of cancer or severe ulcers. And what happens is the food dumps straight from your esophagus into the small intestine.
Oh my God.
So this causes a lot of problems because it's called dumping syndrome, where you're just like, body's just like, it's like talk about like, a carbo loading spike of insulin. It's not even sitting in the stomach. It's just dropping straight into your intestines without being digested.
Dumping syndrome?
Dumping syndrome.
Been there.
So which can cause dizziness or diarrhea, which is very opposite problems.
You have those days.
Yes.
Am I going to be dizzy today or am I going to have diarrhea today?
So once again, that one, if it's a gastric bypass surgery and you're stapling off part of your stomach, that is a medical intervention. Whereas you technically have your stomach removed and still digest and absorb nutrients, but like you're going to have some pretty significant problems.
Here's the thing with this one. Yes, I agree. We need an intervention for this. But this is by far, in description, the funniest one you've told me. And so this gets its own category. This gets a rainbow category because it's like, bad things are happening, but we're going to have fun with it.
Yeah, I like it. All right. The next one is the bladder. So it can be removed primarily because of cancer would be the problem. And surgeons can create a new reservoir from your intestines called a neobladder, or they can give you an external bag. So you have to kind of empty it on a schedule.
A colostomy bag.
Something like that. But isn't that crazy that they can like kind of staple together parts of your intestines
hey, man,
to form a bladder?
We have a sack that's the shape of a finger inside of us.
Right.
You know, I'm assuming they can make a bag out of anything and it'd be better than that.
So once again, like necessary without medical intervention, but amazing that we're able to
totally
save people from that. And then the last one, which you're not going to like, is the male appendage.
The penis.
Yes. I didn't know if we should say that. So not necessary for life, necessary for reproduction and other things. But if you do lose it, you do need a surgery so that you can still pee. So that's why I put it in like it hypothetically is much less necessary than your bladder, your stomach, your colon, a lot of things. Yeah. But because you pee through it, you have to have a surgery to help resolve that if you lose the rest of it.
Yeah, I had no idea about that. I thought you just pee out of a hole.
Yeah, they just kind of have to make sure that
pee hole's clear.
Yeah, and it stays open.
Wow.
Yeah.
They probably have to put like a stent in there or something to hold it open.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, horrible to think about.
It's horrible to think about, but I would put that in the gray area.
Yeah.
You know, because it's not necessarily like it comes with the emotional baggage of not having it. Like same thing with losing your testicles or your ovaries or your uterus comes with emotional baggage. So I feel like it's in that extreme gray area for me.
Totally. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. So those were I think 10 organs that we don't really need, although as we found out, we do need all of them. Yeah. They all serve a purpose. Like I really just thought the appendix or the tonsil were kind of like just extra. But I think even back in the day, they were like, oh, this is just an offshoot of evolution, or we used to need this, but they all have a benefit.
They've all got a benefit. Yeah. We've all got a place in the kingdom of God, you know?
So which one was the most surprising to you?
I would say the appendix, that it has a use.
Yes.
I'd heard rumors, like whispers on the wind, like appendix does something. And I'm like, who's that? Who's that? Who's there? But to actually hear scientifically that
was great, babe.
Thanks. Thanks. That there's a reason to have an appendix is, I don't know, that's pretty enlightening to me.
Yeah.
What about you?
For me, it was the tonsils. Just in the fact that, just 50 years ago, like 50% of children in some places were just having their tonsils taken out. And now it's 0.2%. Yeah. Just showing how much that did not help.
Anything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So
great topic.
Pretty cool. Thank you.
Super fun.
Really random.
Nice.
So God made us to need all 78 of our organs.
78 is so crazy.
And yet he made us where our body can adapt if we don't got certain stuff.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Dang.
Yeah. I'm really thankful I've got all my organs.
Me
other
too.
than my wisdom teeth.
Same.
Yeah.
So we got 77?
Yep.
Oof. That's pretty good.
Doing pretty good.
Definitely a passing grade.
Yes. In the 90s. Yeah. All right. And moving on from talking about body parts, we're going to move into the villains of history section of the podcast. So, Caleb, what is the villain you have chosen to study this week, and how can we not become like them?
Great question. And as always, I'm going to start out with a little story, and I'll let you guess at the end who the villain is, and then I'll tell you.
Right.
Okay. I want you to imagine this. You wake up before sunrise, not because you chose to, but because everyone does. There's no alarm clock, no work schedule, just a voice shouting outside. You're told to leave your home immediately. No explanation, no negotiation, no time to pack properly. You can only take what you can carry. The streets are full of people, families, elderly, children, all walking in the same direction. Cars are abandoned, hospitals are emptied, shops are shut down. And you don't know where you're going.
Wow.
You just know you can't stay. Days turn into weeks. You're placed into forced labor, rice fields, long hours, little food, no medicine. Talking too much is dangerous. Asking questions is dangerous. Wearing glasses is suspicious.
Okay.
People around you start disappearing, sometimes at night, sometimes after being taken for re-education. And the scariest part, no one explains anything. There's just one idea repeating everywhere. The old world is gone. We are building a new one.
Whoa.
Who do you think this is?
Is somebody who's alive still?
No.
Okay. Is it Pol Pot?
It is.
Okay.
It's a Pol Pot.
Pol Pot.
P-O-L Pot.
Okay. I just knew there was an Asian bad guy out there. So my guess was either Kim Jong-un or Pol Pot. Pol Pot?
I think it's pronounced Pol Pot.
Pol Pot.
Pol Pot.
Bad guy. Cambodia, right?
Bad guy. Yes, Cambodia.
Okay.
Very good job.
That's all I know.
So he was, all right, well, we'll dive into it then. I'll let you know a little bit more. So Pol Pot was the Khmer Rouge in Cambodia.
The Khmer Rouge.
So is it Khmer Rouge?
I have no idea.
Okay, well, the Khmer Rouge was a radical communist regime that ruled in Cambodia from 1975 to 1979.
Okay, rather short.
Yes. So we're talking about Pol Pot. He's like I said, the leader of Khmer Rouge. And at his core, he attempted something very extreme.
Okay.
A total reset of society. No cities, no money, no religion, and no intellectual class.
Wow.
Everything had to be rebuilt through forced rural labor. What makes this story important isn't just what happened, it's how somebody gets to the point of believing that this is necessary. So what kind of thinking do you think leads someone to believe they can reset an entire society?
I mean, being narcissistic, delusions of grandeur.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it could be somebody who's just very inspired to see change. Like, it's not always a psycho person who thinks they can change culture, but yeah, really ambitious and yeah.
What do you, I'm going to ask a different question.
Okay.
Just for fun. Great answer, first of all. But this question is, what do you think his child rearing looked like if he became this type of person?
It was either like super loose and chill and you can do whatever you want, or extremely authoritarian, like strict. We have to do things a certain way. This is the only right way.
Okay.
Probably that one.
Well, let's dig in, see if you're right. Pol Pot wasn't always a dictator. He was born in 1925 in Cambodia as, this is his original name, Salath Sar.
Salazar.
Yeah, he was born into a relatively well-off farming family, as it turns out. So here are some key parts of his early life. As a child, he was sent to a Buddhist monastery school. He later studied in Phnom Penh, then briefly in France. In France, he was exposed to Marxist and communist ideology, and he joined the left-wing intellectual circles there. Here's what matters, though. He didn't become radical in Cambodia first with his family. He became radical while studying abroad, influenced by political theory and revolutionary ideas.
Wow.
When he returned home, Cambodia was unstable. Colonial influence and conflict shaped the environment, and revolutionary movements were gaining momentum. Over time, Salath Sar, which was his original name, became Pol Pot and rose through the Khmer Rouge ranks. So remember, the Khmer Rouge was a radical communist regime.
Okay.
So he rose through their ranks, and his ideology hardened.
Huh. So just to recap, he at a young age was sent to a Buddhist monastery, and then he went to France for a while and got exposed to communism and Marxism. Came back, and there was already kind of a communist thing brewing in Cambodia.
Yes.
Wow. So influenced by a lot of ideas.
Over time, he became Pol Pot, and then his ideology kind of solidified. These are some of the things that his ideology preached, which was society was seen as corrupt, as it was. Cities were seen as decay, and education was seen as dangerous.
Wow. Interesting.
Eventually, his theory or ideology became policy, and policy became force.
Yeah. I wonder why he became so against cities. I've not really heard that in like communist or Marxist thinking. Maybe it's just because cities then gain their own like political structure, more power.
It definitely could. It definitely could be.
Whereas if you don't have cities or like intellectuals, people learning a lot, you just kind of like keep the masses all at the same level.
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know.
Could be. Do you think? I mean, we're talking about a guy who has really radical ideas or had really radical ideas. A question I thought of was, do you think radical ideas can be good ideas, or do they have to be governed first, governed into like less radical ideas?
I mean, yes, I think that there's lots of good radical ideas out there, but I think that often society needs a slower introduction into them just for the sake of humanity.
Yeah.
People not revolting or becoming overwhelmed. Like, I think that women getting the right to vote was a little bit of a radical idea back in the day. And so kind of over time, different rights were given to women. But that was a radical good idea.
Yeah.
But I think if they just like in a day were like, all right, then that might not have gone over so well.
Yeah.
Same thing with like ending slavery, or that black people were just as valuable as white people was a radical idea. To the point we fought wars over it all over the world. But again, that lingered in society, that quick change that the Civil War was won and now slaves are freed. That still, is a quick adaptation to a radical idea, but society didn't catch up for a long time.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I don't know. It's just my off-the-cuff meanderings.
I love it. So a couple facts about what actually happened during his rule to make him one of the villains of history we discuss. So, like we said, the core idea that he believed was modern society was corrupt, and the only form of pure life was agrarian labor, which I think came from his family rearing, which was he was raised in a farm family.
Okay.
A wealthy farm family.
Interesting. So he saw that farming was a valuable way to spend your life.
Yes. And everything else had to be removed.
Wow.
So this is pretty wild. I've never seen another dictator do this the way that he did this. But in April 1975, right after the Khmer Rouge took control of Cambodia, they ordered every major city to be emptied immediately.
Whoa. So this is the story from the beginning.
Yes.
Okay.
Especially Phnom Penh, the capital. That meant millions of people were told to leave their homes within hours.
Wow.
Hospitals were emptied mid-treatment. Schools, businesses, and government buildings were shut down instantly, and people were forced to walk long distances into the countryside. There was no transition plan, and no warning, and no exceptions.
That's insane.
So here is their reasoning behind why they did this. The Khmer Rouge leadership believed cities represented corruption, Western influence, capitalism, and intellectualism. Their ideology, like we've discussed, was if you want a pure society, you must eliminate urban life completely.
Wow.
They wanted everyone to become rural agricultural workers. So what this looked like in reality was super chaotic and very devastating.
Yeah.
Hospitals had patients drug out of their beds to march. Elderly and sick people were forced to walk, or they got left behind and they died. Families were separated during the evacuation. Food and water was extremely limited on the
Yeah.
journey. So many died during the evacuation itself due to exhaustion, dehydration,
That's
or
insane.
illness. Yeah, right? And then what they walked into was awful because leaving these cities, they weren't really like relocated in the normal sense. They were placed into collective farming camps or forced labor groups or strict political control zones. So then they're all told, this is your new society now.
Wow.
There's no wages, there's no private property, there's no personal freedom in any way that we understand it.
Just farm, you get food from that. That's your life.
That's your life. Yeah. So
What
communism.
a bizarre way to do things.
Yeah. The forced evacuation wasn't just like a relocation policy. It was a full-scale attempt to erase existing society overnight and replace it with this ideological experiment. So the regime controlled everything through constant surveillance, fear of suspicion, and some like arbitrary punishment. Like I mentioned earlier in the story, if you wore glasses, like glasses to see, they thought that this was you saying you were an intellectual. And so that arbitrary punishment came into play when it was just like, you wear glasses, we're going to beat you or kill you.
Wow, because you must be studying books.
Yes. Yeah. And we're all
Crazy.
on the same level.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the person's like, no, I just got bad eyesight.
Yeah.
Wow.
Exactly. Like super small signs of education made you a target. So the human cost of all this was, I mean, it's not as large as the other costs that we've talked about for, what was the guy you talked about?
Genghis Khan.
Genghis Khan or Mao, which by the way, Pol Pot pulled some ideology from Mao.
I could see that.
Yeah. But the death toll
Same
wasn't
time period.
a little bit afterwards.
Okay.
I think. But the death toll isn't as high as Mao. It's 1.5 to 2 million people
Wow.
died through starvation, disease, forced labor, or execution.
That's pretty crazy in 4 years.
Yes.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah. Why do you think things escalated so quickly under Pol Pot's regime?
Well, I mean, it just seems like he was like, he didn't care about loss of life or really think things through, but he was just like, we're just going to restart. And the best way to do it is just literally do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. That's kind of like my takeaway is like, he didn't really think about the human costs of things.
No, or didn't care.
Or didn't care, yeah. And I think that's the real takeaway here is that when you put ideology over not necessarily kindness, but when you put ideology over viewing a human as somebody with a soul and like unlimited worth, like we see in the Bible, it's like our soul and our being, we are made in God's image, which makes us invaluable.
Right.
And when your ideology takes precedent over that invaluable person, then I think you've already walked into some very, very dangerous territory.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Huh. It's so fascinating to me because Mao, the guy we talked about last week, communist leader, China, pretty much started the Communist Party in China, right? Or was a part of it?
I think so.
Yeah. He had a really authoritarian father who was a farmer who also viewed intellectualism as bad and evil. Like he would punish Mao for trying to study or learn math or do books. So Mao, though, wasn't afraid of intellectualism and like learning and stuff. So kind of like thought farming was less than and started, joined the Communist Party and just kind of killed a bunch of people. So Pol Pot was the opposite. He was like, intellectualism's bad, farming's good. So it's like they both, drawing from the same like kind of ideologies of communism, had two very different takeaways.
Yeah.
Like, and both ended up with millions of people dying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And largely not because of their executions, I don't believe. It was because of the systems.
To death.
Yeah. And you see this in communism over and over and over, is people lose incentive. And when you force them out of their homes, of course, overnight, there's going to be people dying of starvation, exhaustion, what have you. But when you take away the incentive that you're working for something other than not dying,
right?
I think you take away a lot of the person's will to live. Of course, there were long hours in these labor camps. It was unfair. These people were hurt. It was brutal. But communism over and over and over repeats this pattern of we're going to use people, everybody's on the same level, nobody's better than the other, and we're going to distribute everything equally. And people, it just never works out, and a lot of people always die.
Yeah.
And I don't think that that's just because of the labor conditions. I think it's because people lose the will to live. But that's personally, that's just what I think.
Wow. So interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. So he reigned or ruled for 4 years. And then how did it end?
Prior to his death in 1997, Pol Pot had been ousted from the Khmer Rouge leadership by his longtime military commanders. He was sentenced to life imprisonment or house arrest.
Wow.
He died without ever being formally tried for his crimes against humanity. Some people think it was just he got old and died, and other people think it might have been suicide.
Interesting. So he kind of led the Communist Party for 4 years, and then kind of was like, there's a coup.
Yep.
Just take him out. Probably because like, hey, a lot of people died. This isn't going too well.
Isn't working.
Got to change plans.
Yeah.
Okay, and then he was imprisoned until his death.
For the rest of his life. But he died in 1998. We were alive.
That's crazy.
When he was alive.
Yeah.
Isn't that insane?
That's bizarre.
Yeah. Pretty wild.
Wow. Another dictator I didn't know much about.
Yeah.
Huh.
Pol Pot.
Pol Pot.
No.
Fun
which
to say.
Sounds delicious.
It's really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not so delicious.
Bad man.
Bad guy.
Bad guy.
Not a good time.
Sounds like a great, I don't know, like a pot pie.
Oh, yeah. Or like a pulled pork.
Yeah. Pulled pork pot pie. Pol
Look
Pot.
at that.
We're on to something.
We're going to redeem that name.
Wow. Okay. So how do you think we as society don't end up with something like Pol Pot again?
I think any ideology can become very, very dangerous. Like I said, when it discounts the valuable nature of a human being. So I think that's what I'm pulling from it. What about you?
I mean, yeah, just kind of like with all of these people who've gone through Genghis Khan, Mao, Queen Renova, they all were not elected
Yeah.
to be the ruler. Many of them just kind of took it by force, became, the ruler, the dictator. And so, I mean, we just got to have you vote everybody in, and you can only be the king, the queen, the president, the whatever, prime minister for 4 years, 8 years, something like that, I think is a big solution. But yeah, you just can't let people just decide to do that.
No, you can't. It's insane. Yeah, I'm very happy we live in the U.S. where we are.
That could never happen.
Yeah, because they've armed their citizens. Like the
Exactly.
amendment allowed us to be armed and fight against any regime that rises up. And so, yeah, these people didn't have that opportunity, and it really shows.
Yeah, that's crazy that overnight they're just like, hey, we're done with cities. Just start walking.
We're just restarting. It's crazy, which is the same.
Crazy movie concept. I'm surprised that there hasn't been something like that.
Yeah, I mean, only end of the world movies where
Yes.
everything's lost anyways. But who's Mao? Mao did something similar, and he just tried to start again. He just tried to restart civilization
Yes. Yeah.
from the beginning.
Yeah.
And get rid of everything
Didn't
that was old,
figure
burned
out-
books, and
Right. Didn't figure out. Well, even Queen Renova of Madagascar, she's like, all right, no more printing press.
yeah,
No more Bibles. No more anybody that's not Madagascarian
yeah.
is allowed here. Just kind of tried to shut stuff out.
That's a real trait of these types of people is they try to limit information from the past
Yeah.
or anything that disagrees with their own rhetoric.
Right. Yeah. The only
Oh, go ahead.
person Genghis Khan was in
Yeah.
that way. He was like, you can be whatever religion or culture you want,
Totally.
but you just have to follow me or I'm going to kill you
Yeah.
and your kids and
He
your
was
aunts
kind
and your
of-
dogs. Yeah.
He was very different. He's
Yeah.
cut from a different cloth for sure.
Very open to thoughts and ideas, but
Yeah.
if you wrong him at all, he's just going to take out the whole town.
Yeah.
Very crazy.
That's all I have.
There we go. Great topic.
Thank you.
Another dictator that I knew literally nothing about.
Same.
Yep.
Another dictator down.
Yep. Awesome. Well, we like to end this show with a recommend to our listeners. So, babe, what is something that you would like to recommend to our lovely stuffies, as you call them?
Stuff is out there. Let's see. I would recommend starting your day with devotions. We see a lot of influencers these days saying to get up and do exercise first. And I was part of that camp for a while, getting up early, trying to exercise, get your day started right. But then I would miss devotions because I exercised and didn't have enough time for devotions. And so I think I needed to restructure my priorities once again. And ever since I did that, my life with the Lord has improved significantly. So people who get up early to exercise or get up early to take a walk with your wife or whatever, why not do devotions first and then do that thing? Because improving your life with the Lord is only going to improve everything else in your world. So put the top thing at the top is what I'm saying.
I like that.
Yeah.
It's great.
What about you?
Well, something much less spiritual
Okay.
is I would recommend reading the book Dracula.
Yeah.
We're currently both reading it this month, and it's really fun because the book is written in the form of like 300 letters. So you're reading letters that people are sending to each other in Transylvania and England and beyond. It's just a really interesting form of storytelling. It's a pretty interesting, good book so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like from I would say the first 2 hours takes a little bit to get going, but then once you get to the first kind of spooky part of the book, you're like, whoa.
Yeah, about chapter 8 is when it kind of really started picking up.
Yeah.
The first 8 chapters are all letters from one person, and then after that, it's letters going back and forth between people. So it's just a really unique way of learning about different characters. I wouldn't want every book just to be a bunch of letters back and forth, but having it's funny. We'll have to do a Dracula recap episode because as you did the episode on Vlad the Impaler, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, which is what Dracula is loosely based off of, which he was another major villain in history that we got to earlier. But I don't know, it's just kind of interesting that this guy, I forget who wrote it, just kind of came up almost with this idea of vampires.
I think, if I'm not wrong, it was a girl.
Was it a lady?
Dracula.
No, that's Frankenstein.
Oh, you're right.
Yes.
You're right. Yeah. Bram Stoker is the person who wrote Dracula. My bad.
That's right. Well, let's do Frankenstein sometime too.
Yeah. Oh, that'd be so fun.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Cool. So give it a shot. There's some pretty good audiobook versions of it for free on YouTube. And then it's also a fun read. So check out Dracula. Yeah. And read your Bible. Preferably the Bible verse.
Read the Bible first, Dracula second, the little Bible at the end.
Yeah, there we go. Wrap it all up.
You ever do that? You watch a scary movie and then you have to watch a funny show right afterwards?
Right. Watch an episode of The Office or something. Yeah.
Just calm your brain down. Yeah. Okay, lastly on this podcast, we like to tell you about a couple things you can do or connect with us through. We love to hear corrections, comments, any responses you guys want to shoot us. You can shoot us at our email, which is
stuffthatwelikepodcast@gmail.com.
Or you can reach us through Instagram at
stuffthatwelikepodcast.
You can DM us there. You can talk to Christina at
C Joyfully
on Instagram and myself on Instagram at
Caleb C Media.
That's what I'm talking about. I also write music. I shoot video. I take photos for a living. So if you need any of that stuff done, hit me up. And lastly, we have a video company that helps out churches and nonprofits in the Kansas City area and beyond. If you want to get anything or any of those needs met, I guess, you can reach us at
moodwavemedia@gmail.com.
We'll meet your needs. I don't know why I said it that way.
Yeah, I was laughing because I was reminded of when we did those fake ads for a while.
Oh, yeah.
And I wrote you a script for the toothpaste and you were doing the hand motions and
totally.
You got so into it.
Yeah.
I just popped into my head.
And now I'm just monotone running through this. Anyways, you can reach us at moodwavemedia@gmail.com. Woo! Woo! Touchdown! And that's all we got today.
All right. Well, thank you as always for joining us. This was Stuff That We Like/Enjoy, at least at a point in time. And we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.